This stuff actually so much affected me that I have decided I'm going to really partake in it. And I'm going to make video number 2 and explain exactly what steps are necessary to close this craziness in respect to Liberland. It's really personal. As you know, I was hijacked to the Liberland. I'm not going to say that my human rights were infringed, because human trafficking, hijacking for the torture purposes is highly illegal, criminal. And there's been some other malicious stuff done in front of international community by the Habsburgs personally that really tarnished my image. I'm not going to say my reputation, but definitely my image in front of international community. I want to do part number 2 in respect to a video. Yeah, it's a good video, but I'm going to give you entire procedure so that you would satisfy all the standards necessary to fulfill to prove that subpoenas, punishment, warnings being served accordingly with standards of developed world civilization, normal society. It's really simple, this stuff. This stuff is really, really simple. Get the police in escort with ambulance vehicles as close as possible to this particular island. It's a step number 1. It's very important to make sure that nobody joins or anything that happens during the procedure, during arrest of this trespassers, unwanted individuals actually in Croatia that are apprehended safely in a safe manner and as such transported to inside of the ambulance vehicle, seated inside properly, secured, and then as such transported to what it appears to be the court in Zagreb, is a Supreme Court. It's got to be the highest court. Understandable that the court most likely will be closed for the day, and at whatever time you come, it's very important that these people appear at the court rested, that you establish a pattern of a normal process that one would undergo in a civilized country. That's like the most important part here, so that these people don't appear all beaten up, abused, whatever the case might be in countries that are not civilized, to stand the court trial. And that means that in this case, as I suggested here, you would have an option to choose in between jail, that's basically go under the court issues, and or psychiatric ward. It will be the best solution that you transport them on first, after initial meeting of the island, where you exercise arrest of this individual, you transport them to the Zagreb, to the psychiatric hospital. They have inside of the psychiatric hospitals departments such as closed and open department. You would transfer them preferably to the closed department, that meaning that you have an option between the jail and the psychiatric hospital. I would definitely go with the psychiatric hospital. Why would I go with a psychiatric hospital? I would definitely go with a psychiatric hospital because I would want to make 100% sure that they were given professional care. The next day when they would appear at the court, that they appear at the court, in a completely normal state of mind, being taken care of, given food, everything, shower, whatever it is, so they can begin the trial at what would be a Supreme Court. At the Supreme Court, what you would do is you would have a group of psychiatrists designated to test these individuals to ensure that each and every one of them, or for those that are not capable to stand the trial, you would separate them. Therefore, make sure that these people are actually in a state of mind that would allow Croatian state to make the trial out of this. Okay? That means that you transport them back to the psychiatric hospital after the court, where you would subject them to the tests. You would also have, if not a psychiatric hospital, which I think it's actually possible also for the police to have a short interview with them to see whether they know their names, whether they know where they come from, who they are, citizenship, all that stuff. In other words, you would obtain all the documentation necessary to process them at the local court once you return them back to the court if they're capable to stand the trial. Once you have evaluated them, there's nothing psychologically, they're not disturbed or anything like that. Pay attention to this issue very much, because there's all kinds of cults, it's all kinds of stuff that goes around the world, and a normal procedure, a normal democratic procedure would be to establish, first of all, who these individuals are, what kind of backgrounds are they coming from, are they aware they were violating. It's actually something that they would answer the questions at the court. But the main thing is that you establish they are in a sound mind, they're capable to stand the trial, they're aware, they know where they are, they know where they were, that kind of stuff. I would even go as far as asking them if anybody forced them, try to find circumstances behind what exactly took place at this location where the police retrieved them. I think the psychiatric hospital could already provide those information for the hearing. The same day, or maybe if not the same day, the next day, you would transport them from the psychiatric hospital back to the court. At the court, you would process them, see basically, according to the Croatian statute of, well, this goes into really peril, this go into really national integrity, challenging basically not national authority, but national territorial integrity of Croatia, or any state borders for that matter. You would familiarize before you do this with the procedure that is required to adhere to in case you have people violating international treaties, border treaties and stuff like this, because this is international incident what these people have done, and it pertains to the borders. It's a very bad incident. At a court, obviously you would ask them a question if they are aware of what they have done, and then what you would do is you would provide them with a penalty, with a financial penalty that is that pertains to the violators for causing such problems for disturbing public peace, for disturbing people, causing international incident. You give them a bill for the lawyers, for the police, for police intervention. I am not sure how much you can get this done for the police intervention, but definitely it's something that these people already were warned about. You did establish the chain of disproofs about getting into all kinds of altercations with them, with this group of people. And so based on those criterias, you must issue them a financial penalty for it. They have to pay for trial, for charges, for lawyers, for basically for everything that pertains to normal trial. Accordingly, with American trials, with American justice system, charges the same, I would apply exactly the way it goes. Or inside of the European Union, when you're culpable of causing somebody harm, in this case it's a Croatian state, you are then liable for the charges. At the same time, once you would process them already, that's obviously, in other words, make them aware they did violate Croatian constitution, as well as created international incident, border incident, with intention to change borders and even steal land. You would also notify their governments. Therefore, whoever you have from whatever, if it's a Czech from a Czech Republic, you would contact the Czech Republic state. If from Austria, you would contact Austrian government, and the same goes with the German government applies. Whoever the person, the people are, whatever they are from, then their authority must be contacted. You must make contact next to issuing them financial fees, penalties, heavy penalties for it, warning them, giving them a warning, severe warning, that for something like this repeated, if it would have happened, it would be repeated, it would be a jail that would apply to this type of infringement. And at the same time, as I stated, you express a protest note to their governments in which you warn them about this individual crossing every reasonable way to communication in a civilized manner about what they are engaging in, so they can basically deal with them directly. And as I stated, warn them about the future consequences if something like this was to repeat. And then, yes, of course, you release them. And that's all there is for this process. This is the way it's done. Better than go through the jail, you go to the psychiatric hospital to make sure they are being taken care of, that they are being all right. And unless you find something that's wrong with them mentally or something, of course you must offer them assistance, you must help them out if they were exploited or wherever. Unless you found something wrong with them, then you just you let them loose, you let them free. Now, if something like this was to repeat again, that they are doing again this stuff, and then there is completely different procedure, of course, because you already established a chain of disproofs, you established about what goes on, what they are up to, what they are doing, and now it's totally evident either they are completely insane or they are simply already, based on this stuff, is question how far you can go with it, because you interacted with them so many times already in respect to this question that is just not normal. If you will fail to act, that goes to Croatian state, if you will fail to act in a manner I stated here right now, you're going to create a chain of repeated failures. That means that if you continue to fail and fail and fail and fail, there is some international treaties, laws I was even told about by American side. Americans warned me about this during MK Ultra procedure. It might as well as might happen that you could be forced by some bigger countries to even step aside and give that land, offer that land as a land of completely uninhabited, free for grabs land. A Croatian state, you must be very careful at this point in time, because the stuff I'm talking about, in fact, you already should have taken care of. That's something you already should apply it immediately. I know it costs money. I know it's an effort to make. I know you have to have a considerable number of people do this stuff. But this is why the charges are, you already established. You took them those buildings down, which is the most important thing to do whenever you're doing that. Pertains to the real estate law, actually. So that land grabbers or somebody that is just trying to move in, or just it goes to American real estate law. In fact, that was the right thing to do. But you must now step up with this. You must now take this to the next level and process these people accordingly, as I stated, so that next time if something like this appears, you won't even need the court, basically. Not such a lengthy procedure, but you would already know how to process them. If they are criminals, they go straight to the jail. If they're mentally ill, they go into the psychiatric ward till their countries bails them out of there. Or you transfer them to whatever country they are from, basically. So you don't mind boggle with them anymore. Because you prohibit also people like this from entering the country. There's also a possibility of doing that. These are heavy violations. They're not ordinary, regular violations. They go into the category of the heavy violations. And so it shouldn't be difficult to do any of that stuff. You do it once, and then you have peace, basically. That's the end of it. Because the publicity these people are getting, the stuff they're into is just insane. And truly is for something. I watched this guy here talking shit, basically, about, it sounds like some kind of injustice is happening to him. This guy was involved in my case. He copy-pasted a real pain and sorrow that I endure together with his mentors, owners from Austria, Sandor Habsburg, literally into his case. He is acting like, look at this. Just look at this.
Liberland, dear Liberlanders and free citizens of the world, Liberland is facing unprecedented attack by Croatian authorities.
Can you imagine this stuff? He is presenting this stuff like some kind of struggle or something like that. It's not unprecedented. According to the real estate law, they have to do it because of some international laws. Croatia doesn't even have this kind of law. But there are some international laws that, you're just obligated to take the buildings, whatever it is, down if somebody places them, because they can become a matter of permanent if they stay there for too long. You know what I mean? It's just something that Croatian state did simply because of all kinds of international other laws, like in the US or whatever laws, so that something like this would not, that trespassers would not establish a permanent stay, something that would suggest that they are permanently staying there, occupying land of this island, And these people, anyhow, they're extremely hostile. This is insane. And they are presenting themselves as victims. Look at this.
Group of Croatian policemen and people from the forestry came and confiscated all personal property on territory of Liberland. They have also brutally destroyed all our buildings, including the building for Liberland Security.
No, show me first and then you can give me a... Show me first and then you can give me
Look, guys. You know the police.
You see, this is why I have suggested, you know, as a proper procedure, an ambulance vehicles, maybe even a fire department, fireman, basically, to apprehend these people, place them properly inside of the ambulance vehicles, and transport them to the psychiatric hospital to Zagreb, where it can be established the next day through the court, through designated psychiatrists, people, professional mental health experts, whether these people are even capable to stand the trial. You know, because in the way this stuff was done, it rather presented Croatian state like, you know, something like, you know, when you do the law enforcement, you just have to pay attention to detail and do it the proper way. It might take you a little bit longer, but trust me, when it's done, it's done.
Recimo ovako, iće u policijsku postaju, odmah ne budi se udaljili.
It's legal command to move. So move.
Don't touch myself. Move. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You see, you wouldn't get me into any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Guys, you're stealing personal things. What are you doing?
No, this is our personal...
Do you hear this stuff? You're stealing our personal things. They're here to steal the land, literally. If you were to sell a rock, if you were to purchase the rock, which you could proclaim as an independent country, you would probably pay a lot of fucking money for that rock. And, well, these guys have some surfboards, bananas and oranges, and there's a tremendous theft that is taking place according to them. They do have accounts such as, I don't know, what kind of, all kinds of online accounts where people, in a parenthesis, mentors from these people are dripping the cash through them. I don't know, whatever, support me, finance me.com, whatever.
Belonging. No.
We are calling on international community as well as on Croatian politicians and Croatian institutions to...
When it comes to international community, this stuff was even suggested that the final price tag would not fall upon Croatian state, but there will be some other shady deals from around the world they would get themselves into, talking about the Illuminatis, talking about the wealthy people. So they targeted some countries willing to sell an island or whatever the fuck in Africa or Asia or whatever place. And that's basically how established themselves around the world also.
Stop this madness.
You know, this kind of stuff, if it was to go successfully through, it would set unprecedented alternation in international laws and treaties, those of United Nations. Like, you could claim, if you did manage to steal somebody's land that was not populated somewhere in Africa or Asia or South America, whatever, that's like a legal procedure, like something legal. So there's all kinds of implications and crime that could derive from this procedure. This is extremely, it looks innocent and citizen of the world, we're free, Freelandia, Liberlandia, I don't know what, but it's really not.
It is
international community should be really spooked about this Liberland. It's a scary one.
Unnecessary, unprovoked act of violence against our peaceful nation, against our borders and against our sovereignty. We hope this is the last incident in our long-lasting relations, and we are announcing the construction of hotel, new marina project, as well as a huge adventure park in the center of Liberland. We were expecting this. But we didn't expect that you guys are coming without any paperwork and that you are coming in such a brutal manner.
Well, this guy is trying to, he is enforcing his own court. And he's a thief, he's a land grabber, a thug, a criminal, really. The procedure that I explained you how to do this stuff is about exactly the kind of procedure that needs to be done with it. And if something like this repeats after these people being warned about whether there is already some kind of Croatian law these people were acquainted with, I don't know, that would suggest a law that would suggest them to be jailed or something like that. If there is a law like this, I would jail them on a first opportunity. If there is no law like this, I would issue them a warning and I would cite them with what consequences are going to be next time if they come anywhere even near this so-called Liberland. That is if I would decide to even allow them to enter Croatia ever again. Thanks for watching this video. Here's the date and time. We're gonna do it like this.